Hello everyone, this is Chelsea from Those with Words. Welcome to the channel. In this video, I have two separate journal with me clips in here. So I did an on-location travel journaling session when I was in Carmel and Monterey a couple of weeks ago. And then I did some more journaling once I got back home with photos. And so I am going to share with you both sessions here in this video. And right now on the screen, I'm just showing you while I was actually in our little staycation hotel room, just kind of what I have done so far, pamphlets and other ephemera I've gathered, and the progress I have made so far. There's a big sticker there. I already decorated the cover of this Traveler's Company accordion refill. And this is the progress I've made so far when I decided to just record. And on the back side, right now, everything is empty, and that's where I wanted to start out. I also brought this sticker release paper refill with me with a bunch of different stickers and double-sided tape in the back. But most notably, I brought these date stickers with me. These are from the washi date sticker book that I've mentioned many times on my previous videos. And I will link that information down below if it's still available. So I stuck that information, or the date 11, there first. And now I am looking through my leather pen roll. This is the Yoseka Superior Labor green leather pen roll, and I brought my watercolor kit here with me. And I'm taking out my two art toolkit palettes and a couple of different supplies that I want to work with. If you'll notice, I actually didn't bring any pens with me to write with. I did bring this uni pen for just drawing purposes. So as you can see here, I already drew something. I drew a little bit of nature when we visited Point Lobos, the natural reserve. And now I'm outlining it with the 0.1 uni pen, and I sped this up a little bit. But other than that, I actually didn't bring any writing pens with me because I wasn't sure that I would have enough time back at the hotel to really write. It was really supposed to be a relaxing staycation, and I didn't sit at this table too long aside from eating and occasional journaling. So I didn't want to pressure myself to work on this too much while I was there, which is why I am mostly focused on drawing and just putting down ephemera and stickers and the like in this journal with me session. This is the art toolkit palette I have used for a long time, and I just have a paper towel there for this water brush. I brought two water brushes. One is in the medium size, which I have used for quite some time, as you can tell by the brush color. And then here is another flat one, which I actually really like for drawing landscapes and such. So I am just going in there and mixing some colors. And I was not actually able to capture too much of this footage because my hand was in the way almost the entire time because of the limited angle I was working with. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to show you the entire process, but this is kind of what it looks like at the end. I just painted a small scene that I saw when I visited Point Lobos, and it was a really beautiful place. I also purchased this sticker from there, and so I am planning to use that. We went there quite early. It was about 8:30 in the morning when we arrived. And I thought we would maybe only spend an hour to maybe an hour and a half, but we spent a solid 2 hours there across only maybe 2 to 3 trails. And we saw a lot of beautiful flowers and trees and seaside views. We also spotted an otter with a little baby otter just swimming off the coast. So that was really, really amazing. The weather was quite nice as well, so we caught a very beautiful sunny morning while we were in Point Lobos. I would say I got really lucky because later on that same day, a bunch of fog started rolling in, which we were not expecting. So, had we gone maybe later in the day or another morning, another day, we would not have gotten the amount of sunshine that we did. So, yeah, just felt really lucky that it worked out that way and we got to see some beautiful views and just lots of water scenery. And it was just such a serene moment. So I decided to focus this journaling session on that visit. I brought some PET tape that I thought would work really well with just the theme of this small trip. So I am just cutting those out and planning to use them alongside the big sticker. I didn't bring too many PET samples with me or washi tape samples with me. I wanted to focus on just kind of all different aspects of travel journaling in this accordion refill. So I have used an accordion refill before to do travel journaling for San Diego, and that was just a watercolor journal. And that was a really fun experiment, but I sort of got burnt out on the watercoloring at some point, just watercoloring the whole thing. It felt like a lot for me personally. So in this accordion refill, I am doing a little bit of everything. So I'm doing a little bit of watercolor. I am also putting down stickers and ephemera, as you can see there. So I am putting down the Point Lobos sticker now, and I have a little otter from the pamphlet that I picked up from Point Lobos. And then I'm also going to use PET tape and washi tape. I am going to include photos. I'm going to write in it. So it's kind of a whole style of how I journal, and it's like a combination of everything, which I think in the end turned out really well. And I really liked how natural it felt to be able to do everything in this journal. So yeah, I really enjoyed approaching travel journaling in this way, and I really, really like this accordion refill from Traveler's Notebook. It takes all kinds of media really well, whether it's watercolor, fountain pen ink, stamp ink, things like that. And I don't really have to worry about how anything shows up on this paper. So I really enjoy it for that reason also. Here I am diving into the back of the sticker release paper refill that I brought, where I put down a bunch of double-sided tape. And this is a pretty common thing that I do when I go on trips and I would like to travel journal on location. Instead of bringing glue or a double-sided tape roll or a tape runner with me, I just put a bunch of pieces of double-sided tape at the back of the sticker release refill. That way I can just use it as I see fit. I will admit there have been times where I ran out before because I didn't bring enough, but that's okay. I, just like having some spare tape there if I can, but if it doesn't work out that way, then it's okay. I will just kind of designate where the rest of the ephemera goes, and I will take care of that once I'm home. There are obviously lots of other stickers on these front pages as well, so I am choosing to use a few here to decorate this area. And I have the remaining Traveler's Town themed stickers from Traveler's Company. This was the theme for 2024. And even though I didn't go on a ferry during this trip, I just liked that it reflects the water theme. So I just put that down on the front page to just fill up the cover just a little bit. So that's what the front and back covers look like. It's a mix of stickers that I had from home and also just other stickers and stamps that I gathered during the trip. And that is how the point lobos spread, or the 2 pages across so far, are looking like after this journaling session on location. I know I'm waving to you, but we're about to cut to my journaling session at home. So this is after I got back. I just wanted to have another journal session, and I thought, why not just turn on the camera and continue journaling and chat with you about the process and the trip itself. So I'm just gonna remove the refill from the traveler's notebook just to make it a little bit easier to work with. I usually like to keep my notebook inside my traveler's notebook, but in this case, there was more ephemera and photos and such that I was planning to work with, so I just took it out. And this is where I am putting down a bunch of photos that I printed at home. So I like to print my travel photos on matte sticker paper from onlinelabels.com. And I really like the fact that they are sticker paper, so all I have to do is just cut everything and then just peel the back, and that's all I need to do. Makes the process really simple for putting down photos, so I really enjoy that aspect of it. At this point, I still hadn't quite decided how to use this Monterey Bay Aquarium pamphlet, which I really wanted to include as a part of this travel journal. And I had so much fun with my partner visiting Monterey Bay Aquarium. This was one of my favorite exhibits from Monterey Bay, and I've only been there a couple times before, maybe once or twice. But the jelly photo that I'm putting down now is from the exhibit Into the Deep, and I really, really wanted to see that one when we visited, so really glad we got a chance to do that. And I just decided to put down the photos next to the exhibits that we saw, and that way it's like a little mini photo album of sorts. And then that's just kind of like a lookout area where I couldn't quite get a picture of them, but we saw a bunch of sea lions in the distance, only because a really kind staff member actually told us about it while we were leaving. And, he told us, have you seen anything interesting today? There's a bunch of, sea lions out there. They just had a really good feeding and they're all the way out there and you can probably see them. So we were like, oh my gosh, we were about to leave, but let me just take 15-20 minutes to try and spot them. And we did end up seeing a bunch of them in the distance, but really only with our own eyes. It was really difficult to capture on camera or anything. So once we realized that, we just kind of put our phones away and decided to focus on that instead. And it was such a nice time. And I am tipping in this entire pamphlet, front and back, with some washi tape so that I can flip it back and forth. And what this allows me to do is I can still use the actual accordion refill page that you see there that's blank in the back. Something else I've done before in a different journal of mine is creating these like small photo accordions to save some space. So this is where I'm back in my Point Lobos pages, and I could not decide just one photo to put here. So I ended up printing, I think like 6 photos that I really, really liked. And instead of filling up the entire page with photos, because I wanted sufficient room to write about my experience there, I decided to use some washi tape and on the back of these so that I can fold these 3 photos together. So as you can see right there, that is what I'm planning to do. And that way, all I have to do is attach the backmost photo onto the paper. So I'm peeling the sticker backing a bit there and cutting it with my scissors. And that part is the only part that needs attaching to the page. The rest of it can fold, and I can unfold it whenever I'm flipping through this journal. And now I have plenty of space to decorate and write otherwise on that page. And then on the other side, because I have 3 more photos, I am basically doing the same thing here. And in this case, when I pull up the photos, eventually it'll kind of go beyond the page, but I really like this approach just the same. And I find it's a really nice way to, again, save some space, but not have to choose between the photos that you really, really like. One thing I also like to do whenever I make these types of photo accordions is to have a little pull tab, so I have an easier way to unfold the photo accordion when I'm looking through the same refill again. I just have a bunch of these like thicker papers. They're kind of like letterpress papers, very colorful, and they're from the store called the Aesthetic Union in San Francisco. And I visited months ago, actually, a while ago, and I decided to purchase this little pack of papers. And I've been using them for things like this. I just cut out little pieces and I use them for pull tabs or just other kind of tabs in general. And all I'm doing is using this tiny stapler here. I think the stapler is from Midori. And I'm just stapling it to the actual photo just for ease of use. And that way I have an easier time opening up the photo accordions on both sides. Now I'm going through and just stamping a couple things down. And these are just from my own collection of stamps. And I'm using this Artnic cocoa color, which is a really nice warm brown. I think it complements the rest of my journals pretty well, where I have a lot of green and blue in the journals. And so I thought a bit of brown would be really nice to add. And it's a lighter brown as well. I just really like this stamp ink color. And I'm also using a bit of Cool Breeze. This is a Shachihata mixed stamp ink pad. So just adding little touches here and there. This is a really small, tiny tree stamp. And I am putting that in a couple different locations on the Point Lobos pages. And then a couple more things. So I had a tag from Monterey Bay Aquarium. We bought a small like kitchen towel from the gift store. And so I am putting some double-sided tape in the back there, and that's going to be kind of like my heading for this page. Again, this is on the very back. This is on the refill, the accordion refill page, and this is kind of like on the back of that pamphlet that I tipped in. And I'm going back into the sticker release refill and just adding a couple more things here and there. And I go back and forth a lot. So for example, I just put down the leaf in the Point Lobos area, and then while flipping through, I discovered these two characters, a little bear and a penguin, diving. And so I decided to put that near the Monterey Bay aquarium page, which I was just working on. So I flip back and forth quite a bit on my travel journal pages as I work on them. And I find that that's very natural for me to do. And then I realized, I didn't put down the date for the 12th yet. And that's going to be like the last page of the accordion refill. So I am putting that down now to make sure that the date itself is there. That day we had a really nice breakfast at the hotel. We actually ended up having breakfast at the hotel for all the days that we were there because we didn't realize we had breakfast included, and their restaurant was really nice. And I'm also putting down this little like stamp sticker right next to the Point Lobos stamp, which I ended up getting on my way out of there. The staff really kindly stamped that for me on the cover of this journal. So I was really excited about that. I have some additional ephemera here that I want to use. So this is the hotel we stayed at, and I'm just kind of ripping out the area that we were staying at and like where our parking lot was and stuff. And then I'm also using this Point Lobos pamphlet, and there were some flower illustrations there. So I want to use those and just spread them out across just to add a little bit of the trip, like even more of it on my pages. So I could either do it with photos, watercolors, or like I said, like anything that I want to use. And I just felt like including more ephemera on these pages because I had the space. So that's what I'm working on right now. More double-sided tape from the back as usual. I actually didn't end up using all the double-sided tape this time, which is okay. I can always use them in future journaling sessions as well. I also really like going across the pages, as you can see there. So I'm putting down this piece of ephemera to go across 2 pages, and then the watercolor drawing of a sunset that I attempted to do right next to it, which is now a little bit covered, but that is also across 2 pages in the accordion refill. And I don't know what I like about it. It's just kind of a feeling of continuation, I guess. There's really no huge rhyme or reason as to why I did that. I just like how it looks, I guess. In the spur of the moment, I'm like, sure, I'll make this drawing go across 2 pages. Why not? And I just really like being able to flip through everything in this specific accordion refill afterwards. And it's just a little different than having everything really be on its own page. So yeah, that's something I like to experiment with. And this particular refill is actually now, I would say, one of my favorites from Traveler's Company. Ever since they started including it in their lineup, I have really enjoyed it. I don't have any spares on me, so I'm probably gonna, purchase another one when I get a chance for just like future journaling purposes. But here is everything that I've worked on so far. Again, I didn't manage to write too much, but since then I have finished this travel journal, and I really, really loved working in this refill. And I'm flipping back now to show you the rest of it. So I hope you enjoyed this long journal with me video. I was quite chatty and it was a little bit of a longer one, I think, but I really liked working in this and wanted to share my process with you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time, and I will include some clips of the trip upcoming after this clip. Take care. Bye.